and hand over to Sean. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Corella. And hi, everybody. It's lovely to see you all in the virtual room with me. They feel very cozy, don't they? So I'm here to talk to you about the funding that Tesco's manage, which includes the Tesco community grants and also comic relief. I'll just share my screen so that I can do that. Can you see that?
Yes, thank you.
Good. It's always worth checking about that. Okay, so here we are. It's all about the work that Groundwork undertakes on behalf of other charities in managing their grant programs. So just a little about us. So Groundwork UK administer a number of funding programs across the UK. We are a federation of trusts working nationally, but also locally to transform lives in the UK's most disadvantaged communities under the Groundwork banner. Locally, we are Groundwork Northamptonshire. We're an independent charity and part of the Federation of Groundwork Trusts. And in Northamptonshire, our office is based in Kettering. So Groundwork Northamptonshire's focus on promoting the Tesco and Comic Relief funding programs across Northants. But nationally, we run a number of programs. I will touch on all of them today. So key focus on Tesco community grants and comic relief, but we also have funding that we manage around the HS2 program and also one-stop community shop partnership program. More of that in a while. So Tesco community grants fund thousands of local projects right across the UK. Projects that bring benefit to their community will get the green light. These range from improving community buildings and outdoor spaces to buying new equipment, training coaches or volunteers, and hosting community events. It all began in 2017 when Tesco's replaced their single-use carrier bags with new bags for life, made from 94% recyclable plastic, they remind me. However, lots of us, of course, were buying plastic bags. If, like me, you went to Tesco's or other shops, there, of course, other shops are available, I have to mention, and of course, didn't take my reusable bags with me. The Tesco's Bags of Help programme, as it was relaunched in May 21 last year to become Tesco Community Grants. So, the Tesco Community Grants Programme, what is it? Well, it's open for applications all year round and runs every quarter. So every 3 months, there's a change. Grants are up to £1,500 available. And it's funded, as I say, by Tesco customers, originally through the government's 5p carrier bag charge level, but now the 10p bags. All of those funds go into this fund. And of course, as I mentioned, if like me, you went completely again and again, forgetting your reusable bags and kept on buying those 5p bags, the fund was huge. And when it started, the 3 tranches available were 15,000, 12,000 and 10,000, I think, from memory. But as we all got better reusing bags, the amount of money in it has reduced. But Tesco's are still in there. And the funds now available, if you come first, you get £1,500. Second place, 1,000, and third place, 500. The good news in this is that if you're in, you receive something. And there are projects all across Great Britain in England, Wales, and Scotland. The essence of it is that projects must deliver a community benefit. So in Northamptonshire, you need to align applications to a local large store. And that's we describe as Tesco store areas or regions. So we've one in Brackley and area. There's one in Corby, and Corby is a strange geography because it also includes Market Harborough and Oundle. So it stretches across the north of the county. Then we have Daventry, Kettering. Northampton's been divided into two. So there's one which coalesces around Mearway and the other one that focuses around Western Favel. We have Towcester and Wellingborough. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 regions that you have to align applications to. There are mini stores or Tesco Express stores locally, aren't they? They align to their local big store. They're not their own region. By the way, I didn't mention at the beginning that if you do have questions, do drop them in the chat and we'll come to them at the end. It's a useful way of just remembering a question, jot it down at the time you think about it. So what kinds of projects will we support? So the types of projects funded is very broad and covers direct costs needed to deliver a project. And these are just some examples here. Purchasing items which could benefit local community groups, such as sports kit, could be specialized medical equipment. So defibrillators, for instance, are things that do come in to get covered. Art and crafts materials for a group, spades for a gardening project, litter pickers, camping equipment. Could be improvements to a building that benefit the local community, such as a scout or guide hut, church or village hall, changing facilities for sports. Could be developing an outdoor space, a play area, an allotment, a park, school grounds, woodland or wildlife areas. Could be about running a community event or activity, such as fun runs, village fetes, clean-up days, a tree planting session or bird watch. Could be about celebration, and this is quite not often these things wouldn't be funded by other funders, but this one will. So if you've got a community party, you may have got funding for a Jubilee event this weekend or an organisational anniversary. So I know of a group local to my area that had its 25th anniversary and wanted to put on a celebration. Or support for COVID recovery. Of course, that's moving on now, but it's still there. So who can apply? So anybody that basically is a not-for-profit organisation, so voluntary or community organisations, which also include registered charities and companies, schools, health bodies, which is an interesting one again, parish and town councils and local authorities, excuse me, social housing providers, excuse me, let's have a drink, community interest companies. Community interest companies have to be in existence for a year in order to apply. So any community socially minded group with supporting governance documents. So as part of the application process, you need to upload your governance documents, whether it's your constitution, your articles of memorandum, your rules of engagement that are there, which basically assure Tesco's that you are a bona fide organisation, trustworthy to receive money, etc. So how do you apply? It's all online. There's the link, and these slides will be made available to you, so you'll be able to look at that. But if you just Google Tesco Community Grants, you'll find us. And it begins with an eligibility checker, an eligibility quiz, which basically you tell Tesco's who you are and answer a few simple questions about your organisation, which then indicates that you qualify as an organisation. You've got a bank account in your own name, and they will then send you by email a hyperlink to your portal, your online portal with your application form in. Okay. There's also on the website there a page of frequently answered questions or frequently asked questions with answers, of course. And I'm always available to support groups as well. Interestingly, an organisation can make up to 6 applications aligned to different store areas at the same time. So if you work in different geographies across the county, you can tweak your application so you can describe how your service operates in Brackley, in Wellingborough, in Northampton, or wherever it might be. So you can make up to 6 applications. That doesn't mean they'll all be successful, but if they're not successful in that particular round, but they're a qualifying application, they'll be stored in the system and will move forward to be assessed in a following round. So what makes a good application? Well, detail and clarity. I mean, these things are true for all applications, aren't they? So don't exaggerate, sell your project. Tell us about the community benefits. When you go on to the application process, the boxes will tell you how many words are available in each element. What I tend to do with these is I open up a Word document, and using that, whether it's 300 words or whatever it is, I then work on that. You can then, using the system there, you can get the words counted up and then cut and paste it into the application form, or you can work directly into the form. No problem there. One of the important elements here is that one of the boxes asks you to describe the project. And this is the bit that is about what will go into those boxes above the counting boxes in store. You get 150 characters to tell the voting shoppers why they should drop the token into your box. And those 150 characters include the spaces between the words. Just something to think about. A budget. Have a budget of at least £1,500. I always weep silently inside when I see somebody come first in the voting and they ask for £900 worth of equipment. And that's fair, because that's what they wanted. They'll get their £900, but they could have had £1,500. Now, I don't know any group that couldn't benefit from £1,500 worth of support. So if you're having trouble working out your budget, give me a call, drop me an email, and I'll do my best to help you spend £1,500. Can be more than that in your budget. The sum that you're asking for could contribute to a bigger piece of work, and that's fine. And overall, be passionate and enthusiastic about what you want support for. So you can visit our website where you'll find all information, also those frequently asked questions. There's also a toolkit there with fundraising tips to help you to apply. And once successful, you can reapply. So once you've been successful, you've filled in your completion report, submitted that, you can go into the system again. So just to say, before I go on to that, that the local groundworks are here to support you in applying. So we put adverts around the local infrastructure, newsletters that go around Northamptonshire, the different areas. And I'm what's called the local support person. Tesco's call us enablers. I think that sounds a bit mafiosa, but I'm here to support you. You can email me, you can phone me. I'm happy to chat. So another funding program is around the one-stop shop that are around the county. So successful applications here will receive an initial grant of up to £1,000. But importantly, that will open the door to developing a partnership with your local one-stop store. Now, this program is designed to support community groups or organisations operating within 2 miles of a one-stop store. And their priorities are tackling food poverty, supporting the vulnerable, supporting the elderly, supporting low-income families, and running youth sports teams. And this program will reopen at the end of 2022. So across our area, we've got one-stop shops at Morsley, in Daventry, in Weedon, Nether Hayford, Towcester, Corby. Northampton, there are several: Blackthorn, Stanhope Road, Gladstone Road, St Crispin's, Rushton in Wellingborough. There may be another one. You will know these stores because you live within or work within 2 miles of them. So that's the one-stop shop program. And I was just looking for the link, but I will add that to the slides before I publish the slides. Again, everything happens online. HS2. HS2 runs through the west side of Northamptonshire. It's a very specialist, very focused program, which is there to support the geographies, the areas who have their lives disrupted and turned upside down by the construction along the HS2 line. So there's the link to that programme. As I say, very specialist, but Groundwork do administer it on behalf of the government and HS2. So one thing before I forgot to mention it on the Tesco grants, the themes for Tesco community grants are children and young people and food insecurity. Tesco's, and so some of you may know, excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat today. Each store has got a community champion. They're generally to be found at their customer services desk, and they're there to develop links with the community. They're great people to get to know because, you know, if you've got a barbecue, community barbecue on, or you're doing a raffle for something, often people will approach them and they might give a £10 gift card or a box of chocolates to support an initiative that you've got going on. But those community champions are also able to nominate groups into the Tesco Community Grants Programme, basically encouraging local groups to apply. They have a system where they can drop an email to the administrators of the programme to say, you know, we like this project that we're working with, we'd like to see them apply. And Groundwork will then encourage that group to apply. And if they do make an application, their application will be prioritised in the system. So only 3 go through in each voting round. The other interesting element of this is that a Tesco's community champion can nominate any group project. It doesn't need to be in the themes. So if you're working with older people, for instance, then a nomination by the Tesco's community champion in your local area, and you apply, will see you in the system and able to go through. Whereas a standard application from an older people's project would not go through at the moment because they don't fit the priority themes of children, young people, or food insecurity. Anyway, so let's just stop there for a moment. And Corella, let's just see if there's any questions from anybody.
Yes, thank you, Sean. Have we got anybody who'd like to ask a question?
And hey, I could have been that good that you don't have any, so that's fine. I take that as a vote of you know, a round of applause for me. So thank you for that. And what we'll do is there'll be questions again because I'm going to go on to tell you about the Comic Relief Programme. So let's move on. Bear with. Let me go through here. Can you see that okay, Corella?
Yes, thank you. Good,
excellent. Right. Okay, folks. So the Comic Relief Community Fund is supporting community-led organisations with an income of less than £250,000 turnover to deliver projects within 4 strategic themes. So Groundwork are pleased to be managing this new fund, but it's not that new actually, but I'll have to take new out eventually on this, on behalf of Comic Relief in England. And it provides grants of up to £10,000, supporting project delivery and organisational capacity building. So the fund is split in 2. First of all, there's £1,000 for capacity building and up to £9,000 for project delivery. And the fund is there for applications from grassroots community-led organisations that can demonstrate how people with lived experience of the issues being tackled are involved in the organisation and the project. Excuse me. So the capacity building bit. This funding will support your organisation to become more robust and better able to deliver projects that bring about lasting change. The types of activities funded could include developing better organisational governance through training for staff or trustees, gaining a better understanding of the needs of your beneficiaries, support to develop policies and procedures and strengthen working practices, improvements in marketing and promotion, gaining a better understanding of how to measure the impact of your work. I mentioned the 4 themes, and here they are. A safe place to be. This is about supporting people to rebuild their lives because of homelessness or forced migration. Children thrive and survive. This is about supporting children up to the age of 11 to grow, play and learn. Gender justice. Excuse me. Championing those who identify as women and girls, including initiatives tackling domestic violence, abuse or exploitation. And lastly, mental health matters. And that's about supporting good mental health in communities and tackling stigma and discrimination. And I know from talking to our coordinators at Groundwork UK that we've had less applications in the area of a safe place to be and fighting gender justice. So those are 2 that we're particularly looking for applications, but they're all open for application. So the £9,000, the big project delivery, some examples of projects could include employing seasonal workers to deliver summer activities for young people tackling inequality issues. Could be creating a community garden to help refugees come together, tackling family isolation and mental health issues. Or employing support workers to help vulnerable families with young children transition to primary school, or a creative arts project to help tackle gender-based violence through workshops and exhibitions. Maybe renting space to support people to recover from homelessness, counselling and support services for young people, or decorating and refurbishing a training room to enable a new gender-specific client group to be engaged. These are just some examples, but it'd be for you to think how your services fit here. So round 1 applications are now closed, but round 2 will open for applications 15th of August, close 30th of September this year. So put it in your diaries. There's the link. Google Groundwork and Comic Relief funding. It'll come up in your search engine, all online. In addition to the funding side, Comic Relief are very keen to see decisions made about who goes through and gets funded to be managed by local grants panels. And so we're looking for people to join those local grants panels, and then looking for people with lived experience of the issues, and also groups who are involved in tackling these issues. So local panels will take place across England. Some have already done in February of this year, but we're still looking for people for September and March coming. The panels themselves will last approximately half a day, and you'll need to review and score panel papers in advance of the meeting. They'll take place virtually, and they'll be chaired by a Groundwork staff member. So I get involved in supporting these panel meetings in the East Midlands. Successful applicants as panel members will be assigned to the local panel, and we'd like you to be able to join the next 2 sessions of the panels. And panel members will be provided with training and opportunity to meet other panel members prior to the meetings. So again, there's a link to information, or bung it in your search engine, put Comic Relief Groundwork in, and it'll all come up for you. So panel members, we're looking for, I said about lived experience. So we're looking for lived experience around children survive and thrive. So we're looking for people and organisations with experience through supporting children and their families to reach their development potential through good health, nutrition and opportunities for early learning, support to build caring and supportive relationships and keep children safe. Could be your interest is around fighting for gender justice, experience through supporting women and girls to be safe, educated and healthy and in control of their own lives. supporting women and girls to be an equal part of collective decision making in communities. This includes people identified with the female gender. So, a safe place to be. We're looking for panel members who have experience of working to support people to recover from homelessness and resolve their situation by making positive changes, and supporting refugees or asylum seekers rebuilding their lives due to forced migration. And around mental health, looking at improving mental health and supporting networks of people experiencing or at risk of poor mental health, especially those from marginalised groups, increasing accessibility to mental health services for people who need them. So there you have it. That's me. I work remotely, so make a note of my number, but do get in touch over WhatsApp, FaceTime, Signal, Skype, Teams, Zooms, email me, I'll send you a Zoom link. And there's my email address. So, and it says there I also run Kettering and Corby voluntary networks. That's part of my day job, as well as funding these support programs. So there you have it. Becky, thank you for your comment there. I'm pleased that was helpful and clear. If you have any questions, do raise your hand, use the emoji, or just put your camera on and wave. Otherwise, drop me an email or just click on the links. The applications, I think, having looked at other funding applications, are relatively straightforward, but part of the process is that you can share an application form before you finally submit it. So you can drop an email to somebody. So if you're on a committee and you want to share it with a colleague, you can do that. Equally, if you'd like to share a draft with me, I'll happily look at it. Cast and I give you any comments, which I hope will be helpful.
Thank you very much, Sean. And do take Sean up on his offer of help, because I know it has been very helpful to lots of groups to have that guidance with the application. Okay, any questions? We've got a comment from Judy. Thank you. Very helpful, very clear. Doesn't look too daunting at all. And she really likes the idea of sharing the draft with you before submitting. Yeah, very good idea. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you for that, Julie. I'll just drop my email in here as well.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Any other questions from anybody? I think Sean's just doing his email. Marie's asked, is the Comic Relief Fund open to town and parish councils?
I will double check that, but it's particularly open to small, it's focused on small groups. So I'm thinking not. You need to have an annual turnover of less than £250,000. So it's really focused on small community groups who are working with those focused themes. So working with, so you've got that lived experience within what you're doing. But what I would say is, do drop me an email about that, whoever that was that dropped that note in. Is Marie. That Marie? Marie, do drop me an email so that I can reply to you or anyone else that was interested in that particularly, and I will clarify. But I do think, yeah. So my email is there.
There was a question, Sean, somebody wanting your slides, but in fact, we're going to upload everything to the NNC website so that you'll be able to have access to the slides and to this presentation. Yeah,
I'll be there for posterity. It's not prosperity, is it? Because I don't get paid that much. So, yeah.
There's a message from Jack. It's going back to the Tesco Community Fund where you said applications, if they were not accepted, one round, they kept going around the kept on the system.
Yeah,
That is very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
that,
they
you
do
know,
get kept on the system, and Jack, I do get to, I can look at that. So one of the difficulties that I have is that the program's administered by Groundwork UK, and I'm in Groundwork Northamptonshire. We're completely separate organisations, so I can't see their database and their working operation. But they do share regular updates, so I can see groups that are in waiting, and unfortunately, you just remain in waiting. To go through to a future round for consideration. And periodically, as applications become older, Groundwork UK will write to people to see whether, you know, to talk to them about withdrawing that application and making a new application because the information in it has become out of date. So they do sit there and they will get considered again in the future. You know, it could be that people that have had applications sat in a long time, that they want to actually have that application cancelled so they can make a new application. And therefore, you know, do drop me a line and I'll help you in that process.
Hope that's okay, Jack.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anybody else got anything? No? Okay, well, thank you very much, Sean, for the presentations.
Pleasure.
A lot of information there, and everybody seems to have found that really helpful. So thank you very much indeed. And thank you to everybody for joining the sessions. Can I just remind you that everything will be uploaded to the NNC website so that you will have access to it again. And if you could please complete the online questionnaire and include your email address so that you can be entered into the prize draw for a gift voucher. That would be really helpful to us in planning future funding fairs. Thank you all very much indeed for joining us. Take care.
Corella, sorry, it's Lisa. Could I just have a quick chat when everyone's gone with you and Sean, just to rather than me emailing you?
Okay.
Corella, I think you can help Heather to leave.
Can
there is a
I?
button, yes. If you hover over her,
yeah,
in the blue box, I think you. Or
there we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, apologies. I thought it'd be easier just while you
Yeah,
were
no,
here
good to have a chat.
email. So,
yeah.
I was just going to say I'll send the feedback form out. I'm going to do that now, so everybody should have that this afternoon. So that will be done. I'm just done all the presentations apart from the